درود بر شما خوبان. هفته قبل ما در یک سمینار پرنده رفته بودیم. اونجا پرنده های متفاوت می آوردن و آموزش داده بود و نشان میدادن که چقدر این پرنده ها توانایی داره. و از طرف دیگه بعضی پرنده ها بودن که مثلا درخت های 200 ساله حتما باشه که اونا سرمایه گذاری بکنم اونجا و برای خودشون آشیانه جور بکنم و امثال اینها. بسیار چیزهای جالب من اونجا گوش کردم و خواستم با شما خوبانم شیر بکنم. و نکات خیلی جالب بود این که مثلا پرنده‌ای بودن که خب سنگ میگرفتن، مثلا تخم میشکستن، یا مثلا گفتن پای راست نشون میده پای راست نشون میداد، یا اینکه گفت پای چپ نشون میده پای چپ نشون میداد، اگه گفت بال نشون میده بالای خره نشون میداد. و خلاصه هر چی که این ترینرها یا کسایی که اونها رو تربیت کرده بودن میگفتن اونها پرنده ها انجام میداد. و برای خود شخص بنده بسیار جالب بود این قسمت که پرنده یک نوع پرنده نبود مثلا که توتی باشه توتی را تربیت بکنم. پرنده های مختلف از خلاصه هر نوع پرنده ای که مثلا فکر بکنید چندین نوع اونجا آوردن و اینا ترین داده بودن. و حقیقت این بود که هیچ چیزی یعنی توری در بالای سر زیاد نبود که اینا نتونه فرار بکنه و این پرنده ها آزاد بودن در حقیقت. و می آمدن اونجا هر چی که اینا میگفتن این دو کسایی که اونجا همون ترینر بودن یا همون کسایی که تربیت داده بودن اونا میگفتن و این پرنده گوش میداد، میرفت پرواز میکرد برمیگشت و هر چیزی که اینا میگفت انجام میداد و بسیار قسمت جالب بود. و چیزی که از اینجا من برداشت کردم این بود که این نشان میده که ما انسان ها چقدر قدرتمند هستیم. پرنده که ببین با این توانایی بال زدن و با این میتونه بر پرواز بکنه و ما اونها رو میتونیم تربیتشون بکنیم و میتونیم اونها رو جوری تربیت بکنیم که به حرف ما گوش میدن و در حقیقت از ما اطاعت بکنن. و این توانایی ما انسان ها رو نشان میده و نشان میده که ما انسان ها بعضی میگه اشرف مخلوقات، بعضی میگه که فرمانده زمین، بعضیا خلاصه هر مذهب یه چیزی میگه در مورد انسان ها و این واقعا نشان میده که ما انسان ها خیلی قدرتمند هستیم و حتی پرنده ها از ما اطاعت میکنه و ما میتونیم اونها رو تربیت بکنیم به هر شکلی که خودمون میخوایم. و این فوق العاده بود. ما خیلی گپ نمیزنم، بقیه شو یا بقیه این سمینار خودتون با زبان اصلی ببینید، لذت ببرید دیگه. روزگار با کامیتون.
Australia, possibly around the whole world, with their beautiful pink plumage. And the next time he flies and lands, have a look, he'll raise his crown eagles. And they're particularly good at picking the movement of anything through the treetops. So they'll sit there on a perch somewhere and they'll just sit and stare with those big yellow eyes, looking for prey items, whether it be small mammals like possums and gliders, rodents, even other birds are part of their diet as well. And once they spot something they want to hunt, they launch off that perch and fly, weave through the vegetation, through the tight gaps of that vegetation, and ambush their prey. A little bit like you'll see Millie here today, weaving in between you guys. You'll see quite happy to come nice and close. They're extremely good at it. They ambush their prey and grab them with those big, powerful feet that they've got. Now, barking owls are called barking owls for a really good reason. They actually have a two-noted call that sounds almost exactly like a small dog barking. Very, very similar. In fact, a lot of people get tricked. Maybe in a national park, they think, oh, what's going on? There's a dog in a national park. It's quite often a barking owl sitting there barking. Now, the male and female will often duet, but that barking call, the first hour of night, what they'll do, they'll both come out, they'll start calling to each other, so a double-noted bark from one to the other, just to find out where they are and everything's all okay. And you can actually tell the difference between the male and the female just by their call. The male actually has just a slightly darker, or slightly deeper bark than the female does. But you'll hear Millie today while she's flying, you'll hear that little trilling noise that she makes. That's what we call a close contact call. And they use that when they're coming nice and close to one another out there. And it's usually associated with food. If one of them's got a nice possum that they want to share with the other one, as the other one approaches, you'll hear that little trilling noise. And the young ones as well. Have you had enough today, Millie? That's fine. And the young ones as well, so when the young ones have left the nest and they're following mum and dad around, you'll hear that soft trill as well when they're coming in for a feed. Now, they also make a...
Up there. So this is a bird that likes it warm in the dry central areas of Australia. And they'd be up really high looking for anything that's moving, but also a lot of things that aren't moving. So these birds do eat a lot of dead stuff or carrion. They're also looking for the nests of other birds, and they'll raid those nests. They'll eat the eggs and the chicks that they find. So they will go through the trees looking for nests, but they are very comfortable on the ground as well. And in Australia, we do have quite a few bird species that will nest on the ground as well. So things like swans, boggers and bustards, all lay their eggs on the ground. So does Australia's largest bird, which is of course the emu, and hopefully you've already seen an emu while you've been at the sanctuary today. They are big birds, and not surprisingly they lay really big eggs as well. Actually got an emu egg here, or a pretend emu egg. But you'll see it's massive and it's green. If this was a real one, it would weigh about 700 grams. So there'd be enough food in here to keep her going for 3 or 4 days. Now what these birds need to do to get into these big eggs, they need a tool. And the tool I've just given her is just a rock. So they'll use the rock as a hammer. Can you hit it again, sweetie? She knows she can break into it. You might want to give her a round of applause, though. She's done a good job. Well done, buddy. So using the rock as a hammer like that is actually a pretty cool behaviour. It's not something we've had to teach her how to do. So these birds just know how to do it. It's an instinctive behaviour. Oh, just hang on, buddy. That's right. Yeah, just to head back to your seat. That'd be great. Thank you. We're going to get Bernice any moving targets out here. You right, sweetheart? Oh, and you stuck the landing. Well done, Bernice. So this is a species that is usually up fairly high. If you're hoping to see one in the wild, so it's a little bit different to the kestrel that you can see just down the road. The black-breasted buzzard, you need to travel over 1,000 kilometres from where you're sitting in your seat to be able to find one in the wild. So I think we've made it pretty easy. So they are a really cool bird to watch out there. And there is only one other bird that uses that same egg smashing technique. That's a bird found in northern Africa called the Egyptian vulture.
The next bird we're going to look at is a bird that is only found in a very small part of Australia. It does underneath as well. So underneath his wings, you might have noticed he has a little bit of... Do you want to show us your wings, or are you worried about that? Do you want to show us your wings? There's a little bit of that flash of bright red underneath his wings. Now, the female birds, they're actually spending a lot of the time underneath. It can be really lower down in the rainforest compared to the males. So that flash of red allows the females to know where the males are. The males will be ducking across the top of them, the females can look up and see that bright red. What the males are doing in the tops of the trees, they're looking for food, fruits, nuts, seeds, blossoms, not just for themselves though. They're also looking for 3 or 4, possibly even 5 or 6 other females.